of course, we're going to recap Game 2 of the 2024 World Series, but also later in the video, I have to talk about the fact that Aaron Judge, one of my favorite players in the game of baseball, in sports in general, blocked me on Twitter because I brought up his playoff woes, and that kind of hurts me, but again, we'll talk about that later. We also have a big update on Shohei Otani and that shoulder, but Game 2, here we go. Tommy Tanks, he's at it again. His second home run already of the postseason. He's batting almost 670 versus lefties in October. Juan Soto, he means business in October. He's been doing everything that he can to put the Yankees on his back along with Giancarlo Stanton. He pimped another baseball to outer space. For his postseason career in 40 games in October, he's got 11 home runs, 30 RBIs, and a 930 OPS, which is insane. Judge was awful again. We'll talk about him later on. Mookie, he grabbed his second base hit of the night, and Teoscar, he grabbed 2 RBIs on one swing. He said, Mookie, take your time rounding the bases, my guy, because this ball is way out, and to go that far the other way, Teoscar, he just has unreal strength. Freddie Freeman, he's in the 5-hole now because the Dodgers don't care about ego or captains or anything like that. Whether Freddie's in the 3-hole or 5-hole, he's going to rake. It's a home run derby against Carlos Rodon as they go back-to-back. Freddie went 41 days in a row without a home run. He now has home runs in back-to-back games. By the way, Freddie, for his World Series career in 8 games, he's batting over 320 with 4 home runs and 10 RBIs. He's becoming Mr. October. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, he was masterful. He's been worth every single penny over his last 3 starts. They gave him $325 million. He missed a chunk of time on the shelf with an injury. He's allowed 3 runs total over his last 3 starts, and he's holding opposing hitters to a 132 batting average. He was screaming after this Aaron Judge strikeout. He's got a nasty splitter. Usually sinkers are 91 miles an hour. His splitter is 91. That's why when old heads say baseball's easier than ever, no, it's not. Splitters are now 91 to 95 miles an hour. Stop it. Yamamoto at one point set down 10 in a row, make it 11 in a row. He goes 6 1/3, only 1 hit allowed. He didn't go to the 7th inning, I think, at all this season, or maybe if he did, it was once or twice, so it's rare. They're trying to save some bullets because, again, he was on the shelf for quite some time, but 11 in a row to end his night. We head to the 9th inning. Soto, he's again barking at his teammates. He's saying, vamo, vamo. That means let's go in Spanish, and everyone but Aaron Judge and Anthony Volpe got the memo. Judge, he is pressing so bad. He is hunting breaking balls. At least that's my little fuzzy opinion. It's just he's not putting them in play right now. Stanton, he's putting almost everything in play, and when he does, he's hitting absolute bullets. That is a bullet off the bag. That was a literal baseball. Soto, he scores. Stanton just continues to bail out Aaron Judge time after time. Jazz Chisholm, look at him. He has back-to-back pretty good games if you ask me. First and second base, go-ahead run at the dish. Rizzo, he got hit by a pitch. He's one of the best in baseball, probably the best in baseball over the last 2 decades at getting hit by a pitch. He doesn't even mind. He's laughing it off as he's getting to first base. Volpe, here's his moment. The hometown kid, and that's an oof from me. Blake Treinen, he's disgusting. Don't get me wrong. And when you have a guy like that on the bump, you almost have to commit before you even swing. So Volpe, he just guessed wrong. The Dodgers went with Alex Vesia because they wanted to force the Yankees' hand. Were they going to go with the Martian, the rookie Jason Dominguez? Were they going to go with Jose Trevino? They go with Trevino, who went first pitch hacking, a lazy fly ball to Tommy Tanks. That is a 1-pitch save for Alex Vesia. So the Dodgers take a commanding 2-0 lead. They're now heading to the Bronx. The Yankees, they were the best team in baseball on the road. They kind of hung their hat on that, and they lost the first 2 games on the road. So before we talk about Aaron Judge and the fact that he blocked me for tweeting some pretty tame stats, I'm not going to lie, I don't really think I hurt his feelings. Maybe it wasn't even him, but games 3 through 5, we're also going to talk about that as well. Who has the advantage? Before we do that, though, Ohtani, he had a shoulder jam as he tried to steal second base, and anyone who's ever played baseball who was a base stealer like me back in the day, I mean, I played a little bit of good baseball back in my day. I had headfirst dives, and you would jam your palm into the bag, and your shoulder would kind of pop out, and it's more of like a scare of, oh my god, I think my shoulder just exploded. Every single fast baseball player has experienced something like this in their life. It's more of a shock, and early reports are kind of confirming that. Yes, there was a small supplation or something like that. It's a medical term that I say wrong every single time, but Tatis has had it, Bellinger's had it, and again, this is a small supplation, something like that. You guys know what I'm trying to say. Ohtani did have a slight dislocation, but the reports are saying that the range of motion is pretty good. The strength in that shoulder is pretty good, and that he shouldn't miss any time. But again, those are the early reports. They're going to have to run some tests, imaging, MRIs, all that stuff. So hopefully an update is coming soon, and it's going to be a positive one. Now it's time to talk about Aaron Aaron Judge, the captain, one of my favorite players in all of sports, blocking me. Aaron Judge is 1 for 8 to start this World Series, and he struck out 5 times already. He just became the second player in the history of baseball to have a sub 200 batting average after having 200 plus playoff at-bats. So he's batting 199 and about 210 at-bats, and that wasn't even a stat that he probably saw on Twitter, whether it was Aaron or another person. My best assumption is that his wife is running the account right now, and they don't want to risk him seeing negativity, or maybe it's a social media manager. I don't know if Aaron Judge personally saw my tweet and stuck the middle finger to Fuzzy and said, screw that kid. But again, this was the tweet that I think got me canned. And again, I'm hoping it's not Aaron Judge running to Twitter and blocking people instead of just honing in and trying to break out of this postseason slump. And maybe it's moving Judge to the 5-hole. We talked about Freddie. He was in the 5-hole. He and Teoscar went back-to-back, not because Freddie was in front of him. Freddie was in the 5-hole behind Teoscar Hernandez. And I think sometimes when you label someone as the captain, sometimes it makes it a little bit harder to have a lineup change. But Judge seems like an egoless guy. He wants the team to come before him. He's a big God-first guy as well. So I don't think Aaron Judge is a bad guy. In my opinion, maybe on the plane back to New York, he might go to Aaron Boone and say, hey, put me in the 5-hole. Let's get the lineup shaping back in order. Let's go Glaber, Soto like we have been. Put Stanton in the 3-hole, go Jazz at the 4 and Judge at the 5. Again, that makes it harder for Dave Roberts to really not even have to do anything. The Yankees are kind of just playing into the hands of the Dodgers bullpen, and it's not working well at all. The lineup absolutely stinks right now in terms of the bottom of the order. Now, maybe the Yankees turn a new leaf in terms of their fan base and they pull a Trey Turner. Do you guys remember when Trey Turner was stinking it up and the Phillies fan base came together and said, you know what, we usually boo our players, but maybe they just realized that Trey Turner is going to be a face of the franchise, a cornerstone piece for the next half decade. Maybe supporting him as opposed to the entire stadium booing him and making him feel worse might do him a solid. And guess what? After that ovation, he had a historic run. He was the best shortstop in baseball, probably a top 5 player in all of baseball after getting that standing ovation. Maybe Yankees fans just have to put their pride aside, and Yankees fans, they could be a little bit much like they were giving Ohtani the middle finger after seeing him on the ground in pain. I know that's not all Yankees fans, but they take this personally. Yankee baseball is life or death, and they will boo you even if you're the captain. It's just when you're the captain playing like Yankees Joey Gallo, yeah, you're probably going to get booed, but this is the World Series. Lives are on the line. Maybe you come out and support Aaron Judge. I'm already seeing a turnaround on social media saying, spread the news. We're going to give him a standing ovation. We have his back. He's always had our back, at least in the regular season. So do you think that Yankees fans are going to turn the corner and actually start supporting him, or is he just Dave Winfield 2.0, where the former Yankee owner George Steinbrenner, he called Dave Winfield Mr. May because he said he only performed in May. Now, one other thing real quick, games 3 through 5 will be in the Bronx. The Yankees were known as Road Warriors, so they're back at home. All I'm saying is that you have Walker Buehler and Clark Schmidt going at each other. I don't know who has the advantage in that game because Buehler, he was decent the last time that we saw him, but awful in the regular season. Kind of the opposite for Clark Schmidt. So let me know who wins game number 3, and if the Yankees win game number 3, do they have a shot? All I know is after seeing Ice Cube hype up Yankees players before game 2 even started, the Yankees better have Jay-Z out in the bullpen. He better make an appearance.